Hey, I'm Rishi, and I'm going to show you how I built a business that runs itself. It's basically a Mac Mini with a Claude Code subscription running my online e-commerce store for me. This is not hype. This is a real store, real products, real Stripe checkout, and real operations that are running daily. I've actually got a Mac Mini sitting in my bedside drawer. It's powered on 24/7, and it's just running my business for me. And if you're a business owner yourself and you're looking at how you might better apply these concepts to your own business, or perhaps you're an AI consultant or AI agency and you're looking at building similar solutions for your own clientele, or perhaps you're an AI enthusiast and you want to learn how to automate some stuff around the house. Basically, these concepts are all extensible and you can apply these concepts you're going to learn today to any of those use cases. It doesn't have to be an e-commerce store. But let's have a look at the brief. So this is what I actually built. I built an online store. It's custom. Users go online and they decide, they pick a date and they decide what products they want to add to their cart, and they make payment through Stripe. And basically, AI handles the rest for us. So it looks at the reservations. It then adds calendar entries to our calendar and for the customer, so they know when they have to pick up and drop off stuff. We know when we have to be around at the warehouse to make sure that there's someone available to handle those pickups and drop offs. After someone drops something off, they automatically receive an email crafted by the AI. And it asks for feedback from the customer, and it asks for permission to use that feedback as a testimonial to post on our website or even our social channels. And this creates social proof. So in this particular example, I'd made a booking that was due to be returned today. And you can see here that, I replied with my email saying, thank you, it was lovely. And I even provided a stock photo. And what happens is that photo then automatically gets published along with the review to our Facebook page. You can see here, this is a customer testimonial. It's just got their first names for privacy reasons, and it's doing some call to action. Okay, it's even included the imagery provided by the customer. We have a content ops team. So this is the team of AI agents responsible for posting to our Facebook. It doesn't have to be Facebook. It can be your other social channels, like Instagram, TikTok, etc., Google Ads, Facebook ads. It doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to show you that the team is able to handle customer inquiries, solicit feedback, post to Facebook, not only that customer feedback and testimonials, but a more comprehensive content calendar, so part of a broader campaign. And you can see in this case, the AI agents have decided, given that it's Mother's Day approaching, that we should be posting about Mother's Day and encouraging customers to go online and hire up plans to make their events more more unique, more customized, more tailored. And there you go again, just reinforcing the need through visual imagery and posts, driving traffic into our store. Okay, so hopefully that's making sense. You can see I've actually commented and liked some of these posts, because the same team that's posting, so this the AI team, I just want to be clear, this is an AI team that's posting to our social channels. It's also responsible for analyzing the performance of our store, so performance through our Shopify data, through our Stripe data, and also our Facebook or social engagement stats. So who's liking things, what are they commenting on, and what are they saying, which posts are performing well and which aren't. So let me flick back to the diagram. So you can see here, the team is handling customer support, as an example I showed you earlier. It can also interact and respond to Facebook Messenger messages, so that's not a problem at all. It's all done through the Facebook Meta API. It's handling content operations, so posting on our behalf, analyzing, the engagements, so likes, comments, feedback, etc. So that's the analytics workflow. Collating all of that information and putting it into reports for us as a daily brief. So as a business owner, all you have to do is, not worry about all the mechanics of how the business is being run. You set and forget that, and you do keep an eye on it. There's always a human in the loop element, so making sure you review and approve the outputs of the AI. But essentially, you wake up, you receive a brief from the AI team saying, here's what you need to focus on today. Here's what your customers are saying. Here's what your competitors are doing. Here are some drop-offs and pickups that are going to be happening today. Here are all the customers that have returned their items. They're in good condition, and we need to process their bonds through bond refunds through Stripe. So the opportunities are quite extensible. I've just included some really simple workflows to illustrate that you can take all the common things that are happening in pretty much every business. There's going to be some customer support. There's going to be some content operations. There's going to be some analysis of data, whether it's inward looking or outward looking. There's going to be a lot of things that are happening day to day, week to week, month to month on a certain rhythm, and they're probably following a predefined set of steps. Those are perfect candidates to be automated as agents and skills. So skills are just recipes explaining to AI how to make the process repeatable and how to verify that the process has been completed to your particular standards. Now, over time, as we want to evolve our team of agents and skills, we have an optimization loop. So this is where we back at the past and go, what worked well, what didn't, and the agents themselves are evolving their system. So they are analyzing what competitors are doing, and they're suggesting recommendations in our daily brief or end of week brief to us as business owners, saying, here are some things you should focus on. Or perhaps it's realized that there's particular mistakes being made over and over again that's causing customer dissatisfaction, and that issue stems from a lack of clear instructions in the skills or the instructions provided to the agents. Right. So this is AI identifying gaps in our processes or gaps in our knowledge or inconsistencies in our instructions, and it's suggesting we need to improve the code base so that we don't make those same mistakes over and over again. I hope that's making sense. This is a really important element of running a business, is not only working in the business. So this is the operations, working in the business. Then there's working on the business. So that's doing the things that help our business grow and improve over time. So both have to go hand in hand. So how does this all work? Well, we've given it access to Stripe, as you know. Let me just close out of this. We've given it access to its own Gmail. So it's got its own Gmail account. You can see here. So you can access the mail that we receive from customers, or we can send mail on our behalf, provided we review and approve it. You can create calendar entries for us. You can manage Stripe for us. So let's go and have a look at transactions. You can see here a customer refunded something, customer returned an item. It was in good condition. We sent them a feedback request and we refunded their bond. So that was all handled by the agent team. I'm going to show you the skills that look after all of this. And of course, there's the skills that manage the read and write to Facebook. Okay, so you can just go and like these things and you'll see that appear in the reports shortly. All right, now this particular part, believe it or not, I spent probably 30 minutes building the Shopify store. It's not difficult because I've got a background in coding and engineering and deploying solutions for lots of clients as part of my own consultancy. So I was able to spin up this store pretty quickly, and I'm happy to share this template, but this is not the focus of today's video. That's a whole nother video on its own. Focus is, how do we orchestrate AI agent teams to perform work autonomously and reliably? Okay. And we do that by giving them very clear instructions and putting in the right guardrails, just as you would if you had a new junior team member that you're training and you're onboarding. You would give them clear instructions and you put the processes in place to make sure that they are coming back to you and reviewing things as they're doing them, and you're giving them guidance and feedbacks to hopefully accelerate their onboarding and not make mistakes again and again. So we've given AI access to autonomously interact with the world on our behalf with some guardrails. How do we do this? Well, there's the Shopify store. That's the channel through which customers interact or transact. There's the Facebook page itself, which is another avenue through which our customers can interact with us. So Facebook Messenger, liking posts, responding to posts and adding comments, etc., sharing them. To do that, I'm happy to show you in a separate video how I set up these automations through the Facebook Meta APIs. So that was quite a lengthy process for me the first time doing it. Took about 2 hours, believe it or not. That's the Meta API is very clunky. Then we have the business suite. So because we're integrated with the Facebook API or the Meta API, we can see all the messages and that our AI can see basically as well. So here's an example of me asking questions, and the AI actually responded on our behalf. It took the information from our knowledge base of frequently asked questions, and it drafted a response, and I'd actually approved that response before it sent it. And then there was a follow-up question from this customer, in this case me, and it also then responded diligently from the knowledge base after I had approved it. So hopefully that's making sense. We've connected this AI team to real world channels. So Facebook Messenger, our Shopify store through which it's receiving all of those inputs, and Gmail as a potential input as well. So let's flick over to the Mac Mini, which is running remotely. It's behind a secure firewall, so nothing else can access this except me. And by the way, if you're interested in learning how to secure, set up your Mac Mini and Claude Code and how to secure it, just comment in the comment section, and I'm happy to make a tutorial about, setting up Claude Code, Mac Mini, and putting it behind Tailscale to secure it. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what this Mac Mini is actually running. And while it's doing that, let me pull up the diagram that gives a bit of a visual flow. So what are the actual agents and skills that I have configured for this business? Okay, so we've covered the brief. Now we're going to talk about the scripts that run automatically, where the state is managed by our agents, the permissions they have to execute certain scripts autonomously, other things that require our review and approval. There's a bunch of skills that make this whole operations workforce, the office, actually perform useful work. There's a scheduler. That's what allows it to just, on a defined interval, whether it's 5 minutes, 30 minutes, daily, weekly, etc., just repeatedly execute those tasks and instructions. And then there's a feedback loop. So this is the processes that are sitting there and observing the state of the system as a whole and offering recommendations for how to improve the system over time so that it's constantly evolving. Okay, so we've covered this. We're going to shortly go into the development side, which is the machine that builds the machine. It's going to be a bit of code. Hopefully that's okay. And then the operations itself. This is probably the guts of today's video, which is the primary focus. How do you build agents and skills that perform valuable work so you can run your businesses? And yeah, happy to share the code. It's all on GitHub. I'm happy to open source it and share it with you. There's no gatekeeping here. I want to make sure that everyone can benefit from this. Okay, so the team does its thing. So the AI team does its thing, and the humans, in this case, me, the business owner, I just review and approve things, or I provide suggestions for improvement where I think it's made a few mistakes. All right, so, let's go and have a look. Okay, so there's a bunch of scripts, some state saved locally. We could actually store all of this in a database. That would be a lot more, robust. But for my purposes, I'm okay with it all sitting on the Mac Mini. It's pretty small scale operation. It's a one person shop. If I was starting to do anything more complex, more comprehensive, I would probably move all of these things out of JSON files and probably into the database, and then allow the AI to interact with the database. It's probably going to be more efficient, but it adds some extra rigidity that I didn't want during the early phases of my development. I just wanted to be able to iterate really quickly. And the way I was able to do that was by having local JSON files, which the AI agents use to store all of their state. That means knowing which customers they've responded to, which posts have been, sitting in draft, ready to be sent or ready to be reviewed, which posts have now been reviewed and ready to be posted online, so published. You get the point. The local state is for the AI itself. It's notebook for making notes about what it has done and what is yet to be done. So just as you would be having your own notebook sitting on your desk to set yourself reminders, these are the files that the AI uses to know what work needs to be done and what the status of that work is. And we are going to look at this. Hopefully it's finished running. Okay, so I asked the AI agent, I've just logged in. You don't have to interact with these AI teams through Terminal. I just wanted to show you behind the scenes of how it works. You can obviously build your own dashboards on top of Claude Code to review and approve all of these things. You don't have to interact with it via Terminal. And by the way, if you're interested in seeing a video on that, just drop a comment that you want to see some sort of HQ or mission control, visual interactive layer on top of Claude Code, and I'm happy to do a demo on that or do a video on that. Sorry. So there's a couple of skills that are running every 30 minutes. So these are things that are handling customer inquiries. So checking Facebook, drafting replies, queuing things up for the human review and approval, checking the inbox, looking at what needs to be replied to, calendar syncs and making sure our reservation data is put into our calendars and customers are included in those calendar invites so they don't forget where they have to go, when they have to pick up, when they have to drop off. Every 24 hours, this is the operations team looking at what posts have been drafted, what's ready to be reviewed and approved, and what's ready to go live. It's even sourcing images online for those posts. The daily brief, this is a really important one. This is for me as a business owner to understand how's my business performing. So in terms of financials, pulling data from the Stripe API, the content calendar. So it's presenting me with a checklist of, hey, here are all the draft posts that are ready for your review and they're going to go out today or this week. You need to take some action. Here are some emails that are awaiting your review now I don't actually reply to the emails. I'm simply reviewing and approving them. And anything in the calendar, so reminders that, hey, someone needs to be at the warehouse today at these times because someone's going to be picking something up or dropping one of their items off. The customer feedback one, that's pretty self-explanatory. As I showed earlier, after an item is returned, we send them an email asking for their testimonial and whether it can be posted online. And we're also using this data. So this customer, feedback is actually a really valuable source of information for understanding how our business is performing. And if there's any adjustments we need to make to our processes or our workflows. So this is a really valuable source of information, in addition to what's coming through our social channels. So this gets used by downstream workflows, such as the analytics and the sync. So this is the self-improving knowledge base. Over time, it's looking at the questions customers are asking. It's automatically identifying gaps in our content to be updated so that we don't keep getting the same questions again and again, or if there's opportunity to remove anything that's no longer valid, it's gone stale. It's pruning that knowledge base too. So I'm going to show you some examples of actual work that's been done by the AI. So the daily one's probably a good one to look at. So the daily brief that ran this morning. By the way, this can all be sent to the inbox too. Actually, let's do that while we're waiting. Send daily brief competitor and what was the other report that it's drafted for us? The analytics. I haven't actually, as part of my agent instructions, told the team to send it to me by email. That would obviously be a really helpful thing that I should do is, I'm more than comfortable logging in and checking this daily, but for most business owners, they probably don't want to be logging into their Claude Code terminal. They probably just want to check their inbox. So it's going to go through and do that for me. It should be arriving in this inbox shortly. Now, I've whitelisted the ability for this AI to send only emails to me. In every other case, it can only draft emails. So it's not able to directly interact with customers without me reviewing and approving things. But the only exception is that, when I'm asking it to send me an attachment or me an email, it's able to email them to me because I'm an approved email address. Okay, so that's one of the safeguards in place. So let's flick over to what those reports actually look like. So here you can see the daily brief. The last 30 days, our order value, the orders, the order value, bunch of things that are happening in our content calendar. Are there any drafts pending our review, and any upcoming events in our calendar? Okay, so it's basically a fairly concise, simple report that I can look at every morning, with my coffee, and figure out what do I need to focus on. Now let's look at the other one, the analytics report. What's that one contain? That should be fairly similar. So that should be one of the components of the daily brief. So it's looking more around the financials from Stripe. And it's probably also going into one of the other sources from our social channels. So it's looking at what posts went live. Now, obviously, I ran this in the morning. I run this around early hours of the day. It's scheduled to run pretty early. So when there's not much activity. So the data may be slightly out of date. It's not going to incorporate the most recent likes and comments, but you can see here the analytics looks at things like what did we post, who's liked it, how many people have liked it, how many people have commented on it, so you can then figure out trends in terms of what content is working well and what isn't working so well, so we can adjust that. And then it's correlating our campaigns to our actual financial data. So in this case, it's realized certain campaigns have triggered possibly more purchases than usual. So it's identified possibly some cross-channel trends that might be worthwhile looking at. Okay, that's what the analytics contains, and the competitor analysis. So, probably one that I didn't mention earlier is we've given the AI agent access to browse the web. So we've told it, here are some customers, or, here are some example customers, example competitors in my region that are providing similar services. Keep an eye on them. See, tell me what they're doing. So from this report is designed to run weekly. Things are probably not changing day to day in a competitive landscape. Maybe in different businesses or different industries, that may be the case. But in my particular industry and business, it's fairly static. So weekly is probably sufficient. And it's looking at competitors, it's looking at their websites, it's looking at what are they doing on Facebook Marketplace, how they're pricing their products relative to ours. Where are we over and under in terms of pricing? Are they using particular content strategies? Like, are they doing promotions? Are they doing any viral campaigns? Different, angles that might be trending and that resonate with the audience. You can see here the pricing comparison that I mentioned earlier, going down to the product level. So it's comparing down to SKU, where there's a like-for-like SKU or product. Where are we cheaper? Where are we pricier? And then it's coming up with some content strategy as well for us. So looking at key takeaways from what it's identified since the last run. Any price changes, it's tracking what are those competitors doing in terms of price. It's identified one of them has reduced their price for a bundle from $110. Okay. So it's basically keeping a track of some really useful metrics that most business owners don't have time to do on a day-to-day basis, or they're probably hiring someone to do this. So it's come up with some recommendations. Again, these could all be folded into our daily review or end of week review brief. So, as the business owner or board of directors, this would be something that I'd say it would be really useful to receive on a regular cadence. So you can then focus on, growing the business and making sure we retain a competitive edge. Okay, so hopefully it's arrived by now. Okay, it has arrived. It's decided to embed those attachments as I asked. Now, because these are HTML, I can't read them directly in my, to open them as And you can see here, it's the same report formatted nicely. Now, if I bring this up on my phone, sorry, I don't have my phone connected to this laptop. I was going to screen share from my phone. But essentially, you could view this on your phone as a business owner. You're probably not sitting in front of your laptop. You're likely to be on the go or in the business, responding to things that need your attention. This is all being done by the AI, arriving in your inbox, ready for your review and approval in some cases. I'm just thinking perhaps for a final demonstration, perhaps we can run one of these other workflows. It's probably not relevant. So you can see there's things that are running every 30 minutes, as I mentioned. So they're managing the inbox and customer inquiries, things that are running daily. So in terms of content operations, what's due to go live in the future, what needs review, syncing up calendars. Let's have a look at some helpful ones. Claude skills. All right. So basically, here are all the skills that make all of this possible. Now, for each one of those things in the diagram that I showed earlier, there's usually a skill. Okay. So skills are just a predefined set of steps that instruct the AI how to perform a particular process. We're not just trying to automate tasks. We're really trying to identify jobs that can be done and done autonomously. So we really want to make sure that, we give AI a goal, like make sure our inbox is always, we always respond to our emails and our inbox within 30 minutes, and we have drafts ready for the business owner to review and send when they're approved. Ensure that every morning I receive a daily brief covering X, Y, Z. Every week, I need you to make sure that I have full visibility into the health of our business and our competitive landscape. I need you to help me manage my content strategy and content operations so that I can make sure that I stay on top of posting to Facebook, responding to the feedback and the engagement that we're seeing. Handling the returner bombs and so forth, continuing to evolve our content base, knowledge base. Basically, what we do is we combine all of these things into scheduled processes so that they can, over time, so they just run on that predefined schedule. Now they're interconnected. Some of these need each other. So the Facebook inbox skill can then be used by the FAQ skill. So it's, for example, when we're analyzing common inquiries coming in from our channels, we can then analyze that for content gaps in our knowledge base and improve the knowledge base. Okay. So all of this is being orchestrated by Claude Code. As I'm talking, it's running in the background. You'll be able to see any scheduled tasks that are run since our last time. You can see here, while I was talking to you, it's already scanned the inbox automatically and decided that, it's determined that there's no messages to respond to. We've already replied. There are no drafts waiting for my review. So it's basically helping me stay on top of my business. So the only thing as a business owner that I need to worry about is approving the content that the AI has drafted, whether that's a response to a Facebook direct message from Messenger. And it's doing that in our brand voice, but I still need to review and approve everything it sends. So, block out time during lunch or morning tea to review that and approve it. It's reviewing our, standard operating processes and knowledge base for any changes that are required. So it can update our website if needed. If there's any content gaps, it can update our internal processes so we don't keep making the same mistakes if we've identified there's a gap in our processes. It's confirming it's not refunding the money before unless I review and approve those. So as someone physically present in the business, I need to inspect whether someone actually returned the items in good condition. Did they in fact even return them? And only then approve the return of those bonds. And also just making sure before anything is posted to our Facebook page or Instagram or whatever it may be, that we are scanning it for any errors, anything that might affect our brand and perception in the market. It's our last opportunity to really catch any mistakes before they cascade further. So yeah, just making sure that our testimonials are reviewed and approved before they're published. And anything that needs to be, any campaigns or content that's due to go out is going out in time, but only once it's approved by the business owners. So yeah, this is about probably 20 to 30 minutes of work a day. The rest of the work is fully autonomous and handled by our team of agents. Now, if anything you'd like me to cover in a future video and go deeper on, let me know. I'm happy to cover each one of these, in further detail, whether it's the actual custom storefront, how I integrated these agents with the Facebook Meta API, how I set up the scheduling so these things just happen on that cadence, how to interact with this team of agents via the Claude Code app on my phone. Obviously, I don't sit there, as I mentioned, doing everything manually and via my laptop. I actually prefer just to keep an eye on things through my inbox and through my Claude Code app. I can actually remotely initiate on any of these actions or remotely review anything that needs to be reviewed and needs my attention. And I think ultimately that's where the whole industry is going to go. We're going to be, orchestrating a team of agents and delegating more and more work to them. So shifting from, using AI as a very tactical tool in our business to really AI doing really high leverage tasks, things that help us grow our business and really help make things, run a lot smoother. Hope you enjoyed that session and looking forward to your comments and feedback. See you next time.